Hey guys, what's up? So we're looking at the metric system today. We're still in the metric system. Hey guys, what's up? So today we're going to be looking at the metric system unit for area. Okay guys, so we're going to be looking at an area, and the square meter is the standard unit for measuring area in the metric system. So this is the square meter, meters squared. And 1 square meter is equivalent to the area of a square whose sides are 1 meter in length. Okay, that is 1 square meter represents the square shown below. So if we look at this square here shown below, we can see 1 meter, right? The distance of each length of this square, right, is 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter. So to find the area, the shaded area in this region here, we have to multiply 1 meter by 1 meter, okay? Hence why they call it a square. Cool? Because we're multiplying 1 meter by itself, okay? So we're squaring it, and we end up with 1 meter squared. Cool? So meter squared is what we use to represent square meters, and we also have some abbreviations, okay? And I'm going to show you those commonly used abbreviations right now. All right, guys, great. Awesome, guys. So these are the Awesome, guys. So great. So these are the abbreviations that we commonly use here. We have square millimeters, right, which is millimeter squared, right? So if you have 1 millimeter multiplied by 1 millimeter, you're going to end up with 1 millimeter squared, right? Same thing here, we have square centimeters. If you have 1 centimeter multiplied by 1 centimeter, you're going to end up with 1 centimeter squared. Cool? Same thing with square meter. We did that earlier with the square. If you have 1 meter multiplied by 1 meter, you're going to end up with 1 meters squared, right? Same thing with square kilometers, right? If you have 1 kilometer multiplied by 1 kilometer, you're going to end up with 1 kilometer squared, right? And then we have hectares, which is not represented by anything squared. 1 hectare is just equal to 10,000 meters, okay? 10,000 meters squared, sorry. So 1 hectare is just equal to 10,000 meters squared, okay? So we're going to look at the conversion tables here, okay? 1 hectare is equal to 10,000 meters squared. And from the conversion tables here, it says 1 meter squared is equal to 100 centimeters squared. So if we multiply 100 centimeters by 100 centimeters, we're going to end up with 10,000 centimeters, all right, squared. And that makes perfect sense. So this is actually the 100 centimeters squared is equal to the 10,000. It's the same thing here. 1 meter squared is equal to 1,000 millimeters. So 1,000 millimeters squared is actually equal to 1 million millimeters squared, right? So, right, these are the same thing. Then 1 kilometer, we know that 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. So 1 kilometer squared would be equal to 1,000 meters squared, right? So we're going to end up with 1 million meters squared is equal to 1 kilometer squared, right? Same thing here for the hectare. 1 hectare is equal to 100 meters squared, which is equal to 10,000 meters squared, all right? So as usual, guys, you know it's very good to know the conversion tables. Okay, so we're going to leave the conversion tables right here, and then we're going to do some examples, all right? Because so once we have the conversion tables here, guys, we're able to work through any problem. So we're just going to leave the conversion tables here. And we have all the common types that we use here: millimeters, centimeters, meters, and kilometers, as well as hectares. Cool. So I have everything we need here, so we can move on to some examples. Okay, guys? All right, guys. So we're going to look at some examples now. And we have the conversion tables here, so we cannot get mixed up with these examples. And the first one says convert to millimeters squared. Okay, and we have 7 meters squared. Right, but we know that 1 meter squared, right, 1 meter squared is equal to 1 million millimeters, right? 1 million millimeters squared. So to convert this 7 meters squared to millimeters squared, all we have to do is multiply it by the 1 million, and we're going to end up with 7 million millimeters squared. Cool. Same thing for this question. It's 0.79 meters squared. All we have to do is multiply it by 1 million, right? And we should end up with 790,000 millimeters squared. Cool. All right, so that was pretty simple. And let's look at the next example now. It says convert 8 meters squared to centimeters squared. Cool. But we know that 1 meter squared is equal to 10,000 centimeters squared, right? So it's the same thing here. We just have to multiply this 8 by 10,000. Cool. And we're going to end up with 80,000 centimeters squared. So that's the answer for this one. Then the next one, it's the same thing. This is in meters squared, and 1 meter squared is equal to 10,000 centimeters squared. So we're going to end up with 6.9 multiplied by 10,000, and we're going to end up with 69,000, right, centimeters squared. Okay. So really not bad, very easy, okay. And let's move on to the next example. It says express in meters squared, right? And we have 6,492,000 millimeters squared, right? This is all squared. And we know that 1 meter squared is equal to 1 million millimeters squared. So all we have to do to express this in meters squared is divide this by a million, because we know that 1 million millimeters is equal to 1 meter. Cool, so we're going to end up with 6.492 meters squared for the answer for this one. All right, so finish this one, we'll finish 2, we'll finish 1. And let's move on to this one. We have 964,000 millimeters squared. It's the same thing here. We know that 1 meter squared is equal to 1 million millimeters squared. So we'll have to divide this by a million, right? So we're going to end up with 0.964 meters squared. Okay, and that's the answer for this question. So finish with 3, right? Now let's express this in kilometers squared, and we have 9,708,000 meters squared. Cool. But if we look at this example, we need to express this in kilometers squared. But we know that 1 kilometer squared is equal to 1 million meters squared, right? So to find the answer for this, all we have to do is divide it by 1 million, okay, to get it in kilometers squared. All right, guys, so we're going to divide this 9,718,000 by a million, and we should get 9.718 kilometers squared. So that should be the answer, okay? 9.718 kilometers squared. And for this example, we're going to do the same thing. This is actually, let me just change that. Right, so for this example, guys, all right, so for this example, guys, it says 39,300,000 millimeters squared. And to find this in kilometers squared, we're going to divide it by a million, just like the first example. And we're going to end up with 39.3 kilometers squared, right? Okay, so we're doing pretty well, guys. We just have one more example left. And it says express this in hectares, okay? And to express in hectares, we know that 1 hectare, right, is equal to 10,000 meters squared. So we have 63,000 meters squared. All we have to do is divide it by 10,000. Cool. We're going to end up with 6.3 hectares. Okay. And for this example here, we have 629,400 meters squared. And we need to convert this to hectares. So we're going to divide it by 10,000. And we're going to get 662. Right, and we're gonna get 62.94 hectares. All right, guys. And for hectares, we don't have to put anything squared. Hectares is just hectares. Okay. All right, guys. So we finished the examples for area. Okay. So we pretty much covered area now, and we're gonna do area in more detail when we actually look at actual shapes. But these are the most commonly used units for area. Okay, these are the most commonly used units for area. And we're gonna do some more examples. Please do the worksheet and look at it, guys. And now we're gonna move on to volume. All right, guys. All right, guys. So that's it. And I'll see you in the next lecture. And remember to do your best, and God will do the rest.